You're watching WUFT TV News.
Robin Williams was struggling with depression when he committed suicide earlier this week. And yesterday we learned he was also in the early stages of Parkinson's disease.
While there is no information about Williams' specific case, experts say the two conditions are often linked. NBC's Erica Edwards reports.
Ready?
A diagnosis of Parkinson's disease can leave patients reeling. The neurodegenerative disorder causes involuntary muscle movements, and there's no cure. Now a new study confirms depression is more common among those newly diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
If you're visiting with someone newly diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, it's not uncommon that you might find in their history that they have also experienced episodes of depression.
Robin Williams had been vocal about his battle with depression. There's no way to know whether his diagnosis of Parkinson's played any role in his suicide. Although clinical depression and Parkinson's disease are two distinct medical conditions, experts say suffering from both may worsen symptoms.
In the case of Parkinson's disease, we know that there is a loss of cells in areas of the brain that make dopamine, and the link between Parkinson's and depression is not fully understood from a pathologic standpoint. However, we do know that they're clearly linked.
Linked, but it's important to note neither condition causes the other. There are effective medications to control both Parkinson's disease and depression. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
Now, experts say newly diagnosed Parkinson's patients are not routinely screened for depression.
Police have released the name of the officer who shot and killed an unarmed teenager in Ferguson, Missouri over the weekend. They have also released surveillance video that they say is the teenager, Michael Brown, stealing from a convenience store shortly before he was confronted by the police officer. The release of the video has angered many in the community, including Brown's parents. Jenna Hatchard is in Ferguson with the latest.
What do you want? Justice! When you want it? Now!
New details have raised new questions today in the shooting death of 18-year-old Michael Brown.
The officer that was involved in the shooting of Michael Brown was Darren Wilson. He's been a police officer for 6 years, has had no disciplinary action taken against him. He was treated for injuries which occurred on Saturday.
While we now know the officer's name who killed the teenager, police also revealed what may have happened before the shooting. The Ferguson Police Department released this surveillance video that indicates Michael Brown fit the description of a suspect in a strong-arm robbery at a convenience store. According to the police report, Brown is seen grabbing a pack of cigars and heading to the exit where he is confronted by a clerk.
No justice, no peace!
Releasing the name of the officer has done little to ease tensions.
We got to do something about this. Why they just now saying something?
And the release of the surveillance video has raised more questions and angered the community. Michael Brown's family and attorney released a statement saying they are outraged. There is nothing based on the facts that have been placed before us that can justify the execution-style murder of their child by this police officer. Rallies continued in the wake of a calmer Thursday night. The man now in charge of keeping the peace, Highway Patrol Captain Ronald Johnson, is from Ferguson.
In our anger, we have to make sure that we don't burn down our own house, that we don't go down there and vandalize our own buildings.
The governor is promising answers.
Nothing should deter figuring out how and why Michael Brown was killed.
Captain Johnson told the crowd this is not a, quote, black and white issue.
This is our opportunity to show you that you can trust us.
While the struggle for peace continues in the community.
It's still unclear how the events led to the shooting death of Brown. The police chief says the officer who shot Michael Brown didn't know he was a robbery suspect at the time.
Sunni politicians in Iraq are pressing its new prime minister for greater influence to finally unite that country against ISIS terrorists. This comes after the resignation of former Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki late yesterday. Today, several European countries pledged more weapons for fighters in Iraq to battle Islamic militants terrorizing dozens of cities and towns. The United States is also pledging more humanitarian aid and more airstrikes to help Iraqi forces fight their own battle against the militants. Sunni politicians are hoping for more inclusion under the new prime minister. Molly, the rain really has been consistent all week.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to catch a break. Tony Sadiku is in the Weather Center now tracking this weekend forecast. Tony, any relief in sight?
Well, Molly, James, we've certainly been in a rut, the pattern of the consistent wet weather, but of course, like you mentioned, we will see some drier air coming into our atmosphere. That's going to help us to dry off this weekend, but it won't last. Got your weekend forecast coming up.